Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are talking about toxic masculinity. What is toxic masculinity to you? How is it affecting you as a person? How is it affecting your society, your family, your neighborhood? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So before we went on a break, Mr. Benjamin, you're helping us to get better about this good book called the Bible.
You know, the Bible says a fool is known by a multitude of words. You know when you speak a lot, you speak things that you are not supposed to speak.
True.
And then because of that, even the good things that you are speaking, people tend to forget that. That's why God gave us 2 years, so that we may listen more and then we speak less. Another person said like this, big money has no, haina kelele. Pesa mingi haina kelele.
True, but small money.
More wisdom also, haina kelele. But pesa kidogo, there is a lot of noise. Everywhere. So if you want to know people who have no wisdom, they talk a lot. They really talk a lot. Go to the places that you find that they have fights all over. They are fighting. Families that are fighting. You find that there is someone who really wants to speak
more than the other.
Yes.
True.
But now, if these two people, let's go back somewhere and then we get the origin of everything. It is God who created us. And mind education is about the blueprint of the heart.
Sure.
And when we talk about blueprint, the architecture of our lives, the one who created us is God, the maker. And the only way that we can know, we need to have the manual, which is the Bible. Then the Bible talks about three things which are very important. One, the Bible says like this, wherefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So if they became one flesh, do you really get very angry because one part of your finger is hurt?
Yes.
Do you shout because it's hurt? Do you go telling everybody that you hate it?
But it's painful.
It's painful, but you go telling people that you hate it?
Have you ever been knocked in that small?
No problem.
Tough.
No problem. But do you go telling people that you really hate that finger?
No, I don't hate the finger. I hate what's...
The pain that you're getting from there. Then when you tell them...
The thing that caused the pain.
Thank you. When you tell them, how do they help you? Just saying sorry?
It soothes the heart.
But let me tell you one thing. For example, if I am sick, that pain is in me.
Sure.
Then I need to look for a solution of that pain in me. Then if these two people became one, why are they going out and then speaking about the other? If they are really one. They get these things because they accommodated other voices. And then these two voices, these other voices, when they came, they separated the two which had become one. Which means they never left. Most of the people that you find them fighting, they will tell you stories about, oh, it's my husband, or it's my wife, or it's my mother-in-law, or it's my father-in-law, or it's my who, it's my friend. So there is something that is in between them. They never left. That's why they can never become one.
I have a question. Now that we've agreed they never left, we've established the problem. Hence why we are talking about the blueprint being our hearts. That is why the issues of the heart having escalated, forth bringing the topic that you are tackling today, the toxic masculinity. What is the way forward? You've mentioned something very sensitive about the Generation Z. You're afraid that in the near future they'll not be marrying. But what can we do now that we are talking about this? How can we help them to go back to the times that were there before, where there is no fighting or looking down to other people, but rather looking to grow together in terms of relationships, either at work, in the society, in our families, with our siblings, with our children? How do we guide them to go back to the right track?
For me, what I would say, as I have always said, you know, in the Bible talked about one thing. Let every man in particular, love their own wives as they love themselves. You know, one of the biggest problems is this. You know, I talked about third parties coming into marriage. Do you think your mother would tell you that your husband is right, you are wrong? In very rare cases. And if she does, she has a very pure mindset. But everybody would want to go to their side and then say, this guy is a problem. That girl is a problem.
But does it help?
To?
Siding with your own daughter, if you as a parent know for sure she's wrong, are you helping her in,
the problem is
in
this,
the first place?
The problem is this. Why are they coming in?
Have I not gone to my parents asking for help?
They came in because of this one thing. You never became one.
Oh wait, I'm lost.
Because you can only become one once you leave. You leave, you join, you become one. Why are you supposed to join after you leave? Because the only person that you'll be left with is your wife. And then automatically you become one.
Makes sense. But in this case, I have left, he has left, we've cleaved to each other. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't have a fair share of fights,
That's normal.
misunderstandings.
That is normal.
Yes. It being normal, then at times it escalates and we go seeking for counseling or guidance. Maybe through church leaders or our family, that is our parents, our mentors. Those people that we think, if I bring Benjamin as a mindset specialist, then he's going to help us to tackle this issue. Maybe from that viewpoint, I'll be able to see it differently by pinpointing, this is where you're going wrong, Eunice. This is where you're going wrong, person X. Then, if as a parent, if we come to you, if I come, in most cases when we are going to the parents, I'll go to my parent, he'll go to his parent. And in very few cases, will you find me, I'll go to my in-laws, or him going to my parents. In very few cases. But either the way, either the case, does it help if you see as a parent, if you see I'm wrong and siding with my wrong and portraying the other person to be the one who is wrong, well, you can clearly see I'm the one who is getting lost. Does it help really?
Let's talk about this. Before you go to your parents, what is the setup of your mind? Do you really think that you are right, or do you think you are wrong?
That is where...
Does she think that she is right or she is wrong? The reason why these two people are fighting, it's simply because one has a right mind. They always think that, actually, to speak the truth, people who are successful in many things, they live with something which is, I know this thing is very true. They live with a kind of setup in their mind, thinking like this, I'm not always right. I can be wrong anytime.
Sure.
Such people, when they come to you, they have a listening ear. But yourself, when you go and you're thinking that you are right, you have stones in your ears. That's why you cannot listen to any person. You blocked every other voice that goes contrary to what you think. And then when you go to your mother and then your mother is speaking the opposite, do you want to go there? She's not supporting what you're saying. Then do you want to go back there? You don't want to go back there. You'd start now looking for a friend, and then you want to tell these friends. You know, it's like this, and then you're looking for a person who will support you. That's why the fight cannot come to an end.
Sure.
And that's why, even when I look at many people, not only in families, in school, at work, in the society, why are people fighting? They are fighting simply because everybody stands on the part that they say like this: I am right, you are wrong. For example, I want to do something which is, maybe it may seem like it's not important, but it makes a lot of sense. If I clap my hands together, there is noise, isn't it? If I clap again, there is noise. If I withdraw one of my hands and then I clap, is there noise?
No.
There is no noise, isn't it? Which means this person says I'm right, this other person says I'm right, then can we get any solution to that problem? If I say I'm right and this person withdraws and says I am wrong, then is there any problem? Such people, they live together. Such people in the society, that society is very healthy. That family is very healthy. That school is very healthy. When there is a person who can break their opinion and then they say, I'm wrong, you're right. But how many people do we have who can accept that?
Are we failing as parents to bring our children to such kind of mindset where they can always look? Because growing up, I think I have seen that in our family, whereby it's also, is it written in the Bible? I'm not sure about that, but I think we are told two wrong cannot be a right. And also, when you are high in terms of being angry, and I also become high in being angry, we're not going to resolve anything. So when one is high, one has to be low. So it takes wisdom for you to realize, if we continue with this argument, then this one is not going to be solved. So the question is, are we lacking as parents to teach our children that? Because in most cases, we just also, as parents, I feel that we also add more firewoods into that fire and making the fire more burning.
You know, toxic masculinity is influenced by some few things.
Sure.
1, tradition. 2, culture. 3, you know, when we talk about culture and the society, we are talking about the formation of a family. You know, a society begins from the family. The culture also comes from the family. Now, when we talk about the family, what you found your mother doing, around 90-95%, you'd want to be that way. And somebody would say it like this on a light note. If you want to see how your wife will be in 10 years to come, look at the mother. If you want to know how your husband will be, look at the father. So there is a lot of influence from the parents. So if your father was fighting with your mother, you go to your relationship very happy. But because man, you know, I'm sorry to say this, man and woman, they are from the dust of the ground. And the only thing that they can produce at their best is thorns and thistles. They can only hurt one another. And that's why they need something we call the blueprint in their lives. They need something that can lead them. And that thing that can lead them, you know, if my phone gets spoiled, No matter how much I try to repair that, I cannot myself. But if I take it back to the fundi, the one who manufactured that phone, to him it's a very simple thing.
Sure.
So, who is the architecture of our lives? That's why we need to go back to the Bible. And when we go back to the Bible, I'm telling you, people will be happy. Why? They left the fountain of living waters. What they only need to do is to go back to the fountain of living waters. Instead of trying this, trying that. Do you think if you left your husband today, the other man that you think is so good will make you happy? The end result will be the same. Because the problem is not the husband. The problem is not that man. The problem is yourself, your heart. If you left your wife and then you go to marry another woman, do you think you get true happiness from her? For some time you will. That's why Jesus was able to speak to us, and then the Samaritan woman, she's asked by Jesus, do you have a husband? Then she says, no, I don't have one. Then Jesus, because he knows everything, he says, you have had 5, and even the one that you have now is not yours. Which means, why was she changing? She thought this is better than the other one, but eventually he turns out to be the same. To the other, turns out to be the same. To the other, turns out to be the same. Because the problem is not the woman, is the heart. The problem is not the man, but the basic posture of the heart. Actually, to speak the truth, listening is the basic posture of the heart. People who listen never get into conflicts. And even if they get into conflicts, they know how to solve their conflicts.
We are running out of time. Could you give us your parting shots?
If I would say that we come out of the colonial mindset, that a man should be the man. We are living in a world that we have to sit down, talk, agree, and then we move. As even the Bible says, actually it's a question that it asks. Can two walk together unless they agree?
Can two walk together unless they agree? I think my answer could be no. Viewer could send in their answer on the same. Viewers, I hope you've learned as much as I am, knowing the problem or the root cause of toxic masculinity. It comes from the traditional and the lifestyle and the culture that we are brought up in. As Mr. Benjamin has rightly said, we should come out of the colonial mindset. Hence, we are going to have a better life with rather positive masculinity, but not the toxic part of it. Let's continue this conversation online across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa, or SMS line is 21144. Till next time, have a nice time. Goodbye.